Welcome to the Beyond You podcast, where we have real conversations about healing, trusting yourself again, and building the kind of relationships that actually feel good. I'm Samantha, and if you've ever felt like you're just going through the motions, like you're doing all the right things but still feeling disconnected, you're in the right place. Because here we go beyond the surface, beyond the hurt, beyond the patterns that keep you stuck. So take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's get into it. Hey, welcome back. We're officially in 2026. Come on and get comfortable. Pour yourself some tea, grab your journal, send it to your favorite spot. If you're new here, I'm Samantha, a therapist, but a woman also first. And I'm grateful for just you found your way over into our community. And in this conversation today, before we sink in, take a deep breath because we are going deep today. Or not just overall on the podcast this year for me is a year of alignment. Okay. I want you to be aligned with yourself, just who you truly are, outside people telling you who you should be. So this is the perfect way to be able to start this. But hit subscribe, not for me, but just let me know that you enjoy and what you're seeing, and just for other women who need to find this conversation as well, because it helps to kind of get it out. And honestly, it just helps me know that you enjoy what we're going on here because we're building something together, right? And so I want to be able to talk to you about something I've been noticing both in my practice and in my own life, and maybe you've been feeling it too. You're exhausted. I know I've been so exhausted, bone tired, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. And when you look at your life, you think, maybe I just need to change everything. New job, new city, new relationship, new everything, but maybe I need a completely different life. And I understand that feeling. I really do. Okay. When everything feels hard, when you're barely keeping your head above water, when every day feels like you're just surviving, you start thinking maybe the whole life needs to go, right? Because here's what I'm learning is that both from my own journey and from sitting with hundreds of women doing this work, most of don't need a new life. We need a gentler one. Okay. And that's what we're talking about today. Not how to blow everything up and start over, though sometimes it's necessary, but how to bring gentleness into the life you already have, how to soften the edges, how to just have breathing room, how to stop treating yourself like you're a problem that needs to be solved. Because understand you're not a problem. You're a person who's been living too hard for too long, and it's time for something different. Like, this is the year of alignment, and you could just let you know what your year is below. But let's go and get into just all this, right? So, first of all, we're going to go into why you've been so tired, because what's really happening here, because before we need to talk about what you need and acknowledge and why you're feeling so tired, I'm not talking about the regular tired, okay? I'm talking about the soul tired, like you're just emotionally and mentally exhausted. It shows up in your body, in your relationships, and in the way you move through the world. You're tired because you've been living on survival mode. Maybe it's been months. Maybe it's been years. Maybe if you're really honest, it's been your whole life. You've been operating like everything is an emergency, like you always have to be on. Like, rest is something you'll get to someday when things calm down, but things never calm down, do they? Because you keep adding more to your plate. You keep saying yes when your body is screaming no. You keep pushing through exhaustion because that's what you've always done. Drop a comment if you're reading this and feeling seen right now. Because I need you to know you're not alone in this. You're tired because you've been performing strength when you feel fragile, performing having it all together when you're like you feel like you're falling apart inside, performing joy you don't feel, performing the version of yourself that everyone expects instead of being who you truly are. And understand that is you performing. It's exhausting. It will be exhausting because you can't ever fully relax. You can't ever let your guard down. You're always monitoring, adjusting, code switching, shape shifting, depending on what room you're in. Especially for those of us, just women of color, we're often performing multiple versions of ourselves just to navigate the world safely. The professional version, the family version, the version that makes white people comfortable, the version that proves we're not too much or too angry or too anything. And then we come home and we're supposed to just relax when we've just been performing all day. No wonder You're exhausted. You're tired because you've been carrying too much. You've been carrying your own pain, your family's dysfunction, your friends' problems, your work stress, your partner's emotions. You've been the strong one, the reliable one, just trying to have it all together. And maybe nobody's even asked you to carry all this. Maybe you just do it because that's what you learn. That's how you stay valuable, right? That's how you maintain connection. But understand you were never meant to carry this much. Your body, your nervous system, your heart, they're not designed to hold everyone else's weight while neglecting your own. So tell me in the comments, what are you carrying that isn't actually yours to carry? And I want you to just name it. Sometimes seeing it written out helps you realize how heavy it really is. You're tired because you're running on fumes and calling it self care. Maybe you take a bath once in a while. Maybe you buy this fancy candle. Maybe you do face mask and on Sunday nights and call that self care. But then Monday comes and you're right back to the grind, right back to overcommitting, right back to abandoning yourself to make everyone else just comfortable. Real self care isn't a bath. It's a life built around not needing to escape from it. It's boundaries that protect your energy. It's saying no without guilt. It's rest that's woven into your daily life, not just something you do when you're about to break. And understand, if you're only resting when you're about to break, that's not self care, that is crisis management. Here's the truth I need you to hear: you're not tired because something is wrong with you. You're tired because the way you've been living is unsustainable. And your body, your beautiful, wise body, is trying to tell you that. You don't need to fix yourself. You don't need to listen to yourself, and what you're being told loud and clear is this pace isn't working. This performance isn't working. The level of doing isn't working. Something needs to soften, and that is something is how you're living. So let's talk about what a gentle life will actually looks like. Okay. So we got you're tired, running on empty, and you're thinking that maybe you need to blow up your whole life and start fresh. But what if you don't need a new life? What if you just need to bring gentleness into the one you have? Now, I know gentleness might sound soft, maybe even weak for some, even, especially if you spent your whole life being told you need to be the strong one, need to push through, or some people call it just dismissing it, of just kind of like, oh, you just making your feeling wrong for your feelings. Understand that gentleness isn't weakness. It's just wisdom. It's finally knowing that you need, which is what you need all along. So what does gentle actually look like? So let me paint you a picture. And as I'm talking, I want you to notice what lands in your body, what makes you take a deeper breath, what makes you think, yes, I want that. A gentle life moves slower, not because you're lazy though, but because you're done rushing through your own life like it's something to get through instead of something to actually live. It means you give yourself time in the morning before you check your phone, time between meetings to breathe, time to eat your lunch sitting down, time to get home and decompress before you have to be on for your family. It means you stop cramming your schedule so full that one unexpected thing throws off your whole day. You build and buffer time, breathing room, a margin. So comment below, what's one area of your life where you could move slower? Just one thing, or we're not overhauling everything, just noticing where you could soften the pace. A gentle life has boundaries you don't apologize for. It means you can say no without a detailed explanation. You can leave the party early without feeling guilty. You can take a day off without justifying it. You can tell your family you're not available for every crisis. And here's the tender part here, though. You can do all of that and still be a good person, still be loving, still be caring. You can have boundaries and compassion at the same time. I talk all about boundaries in my episode 2. Check that out. It's one of the top sellers 2025. Understand that these are not opposites. I know that's hard to believe, especially if you were raised to think that love means sacrificing yourself, that being a good daughter, a good friend, a good partner means being available 24/7, that having needs makes you selfish. But love, when I understand boundaries aren't selfish, that's a foundation of sustainable life. That there is how you see a relationship with. people without losing yourself in the process. A gentler life listens to your body. It means when your body says, I'm tired, you rest, not push through. When your body says, I don't feel safe, you listen, you just don't override it. When your body says, I need to move, you move. Not force yourself to sit still because productivity culture says sitting at a desk is only valid work. Your body is always talking to you, always, but most of us have learned to ignore it. We override the signals, we numb them with caffeine, sugar, scrolling, staying busy. We treat our bodies like machines that should just keep going. But your body isn't a machine. It's a wise, intuitive organism that knows what you need. And a gentle life means finally listening. So once you're sharing in the comments, what is your body trying to tell you right now? Just tune in for a second, right? And notice, not, no judgment, just curiosity. A gentle life asks for help. This one might be the hardest for those of us who learn that asking for help means you're weak. And I have a lot of my clients have trouble with doing this as well. You learn that you should be able to handle everything on your own. So who internalized that your worth comes from not needing anyone? But asking for help isn't weakness, it's courage. It's saying, I can't do this alone and I'm not supposed to. A gentle life means you call the therapist or set up a session. You partner um, in not taking all this stuff home. I need to be able to support, I need support right now. Letting your partner know that, letting your friends know that, not doing things that drain you. You let people show up for you the way you've been showing up for them. And yes, sometimes people will disappoint you. Sometimes they won't show up the way you hoped, but that doesn't mean you stop asking. It means you adjust who you're asking because isolation isn't sustainable either. A gentle life includes rest, real rest, not just sleep, though, that too, but a rest that restores you, that fills it back up. So, here are the things that might look like: a morning where you don't set an alarm, an afternoon with zero plans, a weekend where you don't accomplish anything, permission to be unproductive and still be worthy, saying no to the event because you need a night at home, canceling plans where your body says, I can't. And before you say, that sounds nice, but it's not realistic. I get it. And I hear you. And I know there are real constraints, bills to pay, kids to care for, responsibilities that doesn't disappear just because you're tired. But here's what I know: you can always find 5 minutes. I have two boys of my own. 5 minutes of sitting still, 5 minutes of breathing, 5 minutes of not doing anything for anyone else. Maybe when they're sitting, when I know my boys are sitting and eating, I make sure to take my 5 minutes. Start there with a gentleness and building from there. A gentle life makes room for pleasure. When's the last time you did something just because it felt good? Not because it was productive, not because it was self care, just because it brought you joy, right? A gentle life makes space for the things that light you up, the music that makes you want to dance, the book that has nothing to do with personal growth, the hobby that serves no purpose except that you enjoy it. I have plenty of those. Right? You're allowed to experience pleasure, love. You're allowed to feel good. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to be healed first. You don't have to wait until everything's figured out. Healing is a journey. Joy is available to you right now, even in the mess, even in the hard, especially in the hard. So tell me, what brings you that brings you joy that you haven't made time for yourself lately? And put it back on your calendar. A gentle life treats you the way you deserve to be treated. This is the core of it all. A gentle life means you stop being your own worst critic. You stop the harsh self talk. You stop treating yourself like you've never done or doing enough, being enough, healing fast enough. You start speaking to yourself the way you'd speak to someone you love, with compassion, with patience, with understanding that you're doing your best. And even when your best doesn't look like much, even when your best is just getting through the day, that still counts. That's still worthy of gentleness. So, now we go into just how to start bringing gentleness into your life. Please bring out your notebook. We're going to get into this. Okay. So we talked about what gentle life looks like. Now, let's talk about how to actually create it because theory is beautiful, but you need practical steps. And I'm going to be real with you. You don't have to do all this at once. In fact, please do not try to because you're trying to overhaul your entire life overnight is wild. That's not gentleness. That's the same harsh, all or nothing energy you're trying to move away from. So, once you just pick one, just one thing to start with, one small way to soften your life, one gentle step towards a more sustainable way of being. Step one, notice when your life feels hard. Before you can soften anything, you need to see where the hardness is. So let's take an inventory. Gentle, if you grab your Miss Me journal, or if you have it, or just a piece of paper and ask yourself, where am I pushing through when my body's asking me to stop? Where am I saying yes when I mean no? And feel free to pause as you need to. Where am I performing instead of just being? Where am I giving more than I have to give? Where does my life feel rigid, harsh, relentless? Don't judge what comes up. Don't try to fix it yet. I just want you to notice it because awareness, that's where change begins. And if you notice anything, if you want to share it, please let us know. Step two, I want you to choose one area to soften. You can't soften everything at once. So look at what you just wrote and pick one thing, the one that feels most urgent, the one that, if it's softened, would give you some relief. Maybe it's your morning routine. Maybe it's your relationship with work. Maybe it's how you talk to yourself. Maybe it's your schedule. Maybe it's a specific relationship that is draining you. Pick one, just one. Step three, I want you to ask, what would gentleness look like here? Look, now that you have chosen your one thing, I want you to get curious. What would it look like to bring gentleness to this area? If it's your morning routine, what would a gentle morning look like? Maybe it's waking up 15 minutes earlier so you're not rushing. Maybe it's not checking your phone first thing. Maybe it's actually eating breakfast sitting down. If it is your relationship with work, what would gentleness look like? Maybe it's setting a hard stop time. Maybe it's not checking email on weekends. It's delegating something you've been carrying alone. If it's how you talk to yourself, what would gentleness sound like? Maybe it's catching the harsh voice and saying, I'm doing my best. Maybe it's talking to yourself the way you talk to your best friend. I've been really implementing this with mirror work, and it's been life changing for me. There's no right answer here. Gentleness looks different for everyone. What matters is what feels softer to you, what helps you breathe a little easier. Step four, start small and build. Here's where most people mess up. They decide they're going to be gentle with themselves and they immediately try to change everything. And when they can't maintain it, they give up. Don't do that. Start with the smallest version of gentleness. So small it almost feels silly. If your gentle morning looks like sitting with coffee for 5 minutes before checking your phone, start with the 5 minutes, not 30, not an hour, five. If your gentle work boundary is leaving by 6 p.m., start with one day a week, not every day, just Wednesdays or whatever works. If your gentle self talk is catching a harsh voice, start by just noticing it, not changing it yet, just noticing. Then maybe once you're aware of it, you add one kind phrase a day. Small, consistent acts of gentleness will change your life more than grand gestures you can't maintain. And here's where your Miss Me Journal becomes your companion. There's just prompts throughout the Rediscover and Reconnect sections, specifically designed to help you practice gentleness with yourself and with your body. And we have an ebook that's also being attached to it to kind of really give you that whole experience that you can be able to read through while doing your journal to really be kind of really be there for you. So the ebook, it walks you through why you lost touch with gentleness in the first place, how to release the beliefs that keep you just living hard, and how to rebuild your life from a place of soft instead of survival. Step five, notice the resistance because here's what's going to happen. You're going to start bringing gentleness into your life, and something in you is going to resist it. You're going to feel guilty for resting, selfish for having boundaries, lazy for slowing down, weak for asking for help. That's normal. That's your old conditioning showing up. That's the part of you that learned gentleness wasn't safe, that learned that you had to be hard to survive. When that resistance comes up, and it will, just notice it. Oh, there's a voice that says I'm being lazy. There's the guilt about disappointing someone. There's the fear that if I'm not producing, I'm not valuable. Notice it, acknowledge it, thank it for trying to protect you, and then choose gentleness anyway. Because the voice that says you don't deserve gentleness is the voice that needs gentleness the most. So I want you to think about what resistance is coming up for you as you think about this. What's the voice saying when you imagine being gentle with yourself? Because step 6, I want you to celebrate every act of gentleness. This is important. Every time you choose gentleness, every single time, acknowledge it. You rested when you were tired instead of pushing through. That is a win. You said no without over explaining. That is a win. You caught the harsh self talk and softened. That is a win. You asked for help. That's a win. Don't wait until your whole life is gentle to celebrate. Celebrate the 5 minutes, the one boundary, the single kind word to yourself, because those small acts, they're rewiring your brain. They're teaching your nervous system that gentleness is safe. They're building a new relationship with yourself, and that is everything. So, no, we got to now see on what changes when your life gets gentler. Okay. Because I know it can be just overall quite a bit. This part might surprise you. You don't become less capable, you become more sustainable. Gentleness doesn't make you weak or lazy or unproductive. It just makes you able to keep going without burning out every 6 months. It makes your work, your relationships, your life actually sustainable long term. You stop operating in cycles of hustle and crash. You stop having to take entire weekends to recover from the week. You stop getting sick every time you have a break because your body finally feels safe enough to break down. You don't lose yourself. You find yourself when you're not constantly performing, constantly producing, constantly proving. You get to actually be, and in that being, you remember who you are. You remember what you like, what brings you joy, what matters to you, what you actually want, not what you think you should want. That version of you that got buried under all the doing, all the performing, all the surviving, she starts to come back slowly, gently. Your relationships get healthier when you're gentle with yourself. You stop resenting other people for taking what you freely gave. You stop over functioning and then feeling bitter. You stop carrying everyone's emotions and then feeling drained. You show up in relationships from overflow instead of that depletion. And that changes everything. The relationships that were built on you abandoning yourself, some of those might not survive your gentleness, and that's okay. That is information. That's you learning who you can love when you're not shrinking yourself. And the relationships that were always meant to last, they get deeper because you're finally present, finally yourself, finally able to actually connect instead of just perform. You start trusting yourself again. When you listen to your body, when you honor your boundaries, when you choose rest, when you speak kindly to yourself, you're building trust. You're showing yourself over and over that you're worthy of care and that your needs matter, that you can be trusted to take care of yourself. And that trust, that's the foundation of everything. And that's how you stop abandoning yourself. That's how you heal. Life doesn't get easier, but it gets softer. I can't promise that a gentle life means no more hard things. Okay. Life is going to life, you know. There will still be challenges, still be grief, still be stress, still be moments that knock you sideways. But when your life has gentleness woven into it, when you built in rest and boundaries and self compassion, those hard things don't break you the way they used to because you're not already running on empty. You're not already at your limit. You have reserves, you have capacity, you have a foundation that can hold you even in the storm. And that is everything. So here's what I need you to do before we close. You don't need a new life. You just need to stop living the one so harshly. You don't need to quit your job or move across the country or end all your relationships. No, if you need to do those things, it's okay for other reasons. You do things for other reasons, it's okay, do them. But most of the time, most of us just need to soften, slow down, give ourselves permission to exist without constantly earning our worth. You deserve a life that doesn't require you to be in survival mode, a life that doesn't demand you perform constantly, a life that makes space for just rest and pleasure and ease. In creating that, it starts with small act of gentleness, just one. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Drop a comment right now and tell me what's one way you're going to bring gentleness in your life this week. Just one small thing. I'm reading every comment and you'll see I'll respond back to you, but I want to witness your commitment to yourself. Share this episode with someone who's exhausted, who's running on empty, who thinks they need a whole life, even when what they really need is a gentler one. Tag me at imsamantha.a so I can see you spreading this message. You can follow me on Substack as well. If you haven't subscribed yet, this is your invitation. Join this community of women who are learning to live more gently, more sustainably, and more aligned with who they actually are. Hit that subscribe button, join my email list for weekly reminders to be gentle with yourself, for tools and practices that support a softer life, real support for the real work. And if you're ready to go deeper to this work, the Miss Me Journal, we have a Substack paid community as well that we're doing as well. So ebook that comes along with it is waiting for you. They're your guides, a framework, and the daily practices to help you create a life that doesn't require you to run on fumes. A life where gentleness isn't a luxury, it's your baseline. Find me daily for gentle reminders at Instagram at imsamantha.a or TikTok at Moving Beyond You. So before you go, I want you to put your hand on your heart. I love doing this, and do it with me. Take a deep breath and say this out loud or in your mind. I am worthy of gentleness, not someday, not when I'm healed, right now, exactly as I am. Say it again. Let it sink in. You don't need to earn gentleness through productivity or perfection. You don't need to wait until you're better to treat yourself with care. You're worthy of a gentle life right now, today, this moment. So soften, slow down, give yourself permission to exist without constantly proving your worth. The world needs you rested, whole, and gentle more than it needs you burnt out and barely holding on. Please take care of yourself this week. Really take care. Be so gentle with that beautiful heart of yours. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, you're doing better than you think, and you deserve every bit of gentleness you can give yourself. See you next week.